Good morning, everyone. Henry Flowers here, Powerful Living Outreach Ministries, broadcasting from my home studio this morning because I can, because I got it like that. I'm really excited to be coming to you once again over the YouTube airways. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. I'm really trying to get to the 500 subscriber mark, because when I do that, some things change and I could possibly get paid for advertisements and all that kind of stuff. Doing this ministry, you need to get paid, because just, despite what people say about preachers being all about the money, it ain't always like that. I don't know what money they talking about. I'm still trying to find it. So just trust me out there, okay? You need to be looking for opportunities to get paid if you're in ministry. This work doesn't pay a lot, despite what people say. So make sure you subscribe and share this channel with other people. Everywhere you can get podcasts, you go to iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, whatever. These things will be online as well. Look up Henry Flowers, Powerful Living. That's where you'll find us. Also, too, you want to make sure you get a copy of my book. This is really good. I wrote a book for young people, but listen, this is for all people. If you are in a place in your life where you need some direction, your life is not quite where you want it to be, and so the things that I did to get myself off the streets of Detroit and to create a life that I love, when I had every opportunity to be a statistic, those are things that I dwindled down and boiled down into 5 steps. I go out and speak to high schools and in colleges, and many times they use events. As you know, in high school, there's not a lot of money to be paid in high school. So these young people need this book, 5 ways to gear up and be about that life. And one of the things that you'll agree with me on, too, is that our teenagers spend too much time being bored to death. So Bored to Death is why I got that title, and 5 steps to gear up and be about that life. Everybody has a life that they say they want to live. If they're living their best life, it looks like this, it looks like that. So what does that life look like? There are 5 things you need to do. One of the first things that I'll tell you real quickly here is you have a plan. And it's not important, it's not enough to just have a plan in your mind. Like the power of being able to write it down and say, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to become. Man, writing it down just changes everything. It becomes alive when you write it down, and it's something that you can look at every day. Even if it's on a flashcard, something you put on your mirror, something you want to accomplish in the next 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, right? 2-year goals, 5-year goals. Writing those things down just changes everything about what you believe about possibilities. Once it gets written down, power happens. So just understand, when you can go to Amazon and find this book, but if you Cash App $20, I think, what is my Cash App? Hank Roses? I think my Cash App is Hank Roses with no space, right? Check this out. This is what I'm gonna do. If you Cash App Hank Roses $20, I'm gonna send you an autographed copy of this book, Bored to Death, so you can hear about my personal stories and the 5 things that I did to create the life that I love today. But what also allows me to do is, for every book that I sell for $20, I need to share this more often. I don't share this enough. Every time you buy a book for $20, it gives me opportunity to give away 2 of these books at colleges or high schools. A lot of times I speak to middle schools too, and they don't have the money, but they need this book. And so buying 2 extra, I give away 2 extra every time, and these kids love it, man. They come back and they tell me how much they love my stories. Told them about my gym shoes when I finally got that pair of gym shoes that I wanted, man. All these kinds of stories that are in this book, transforming young people's lives, and adults as well. Many of us as adults, we just don't write it down enough. We don't take the time to put pen to paper and say, this is who I want to be. This is what I want to do. I got a lot of stuff going on during the day, and not relying on my memory is something that I've trained myself to do. I don't rely on my memory. You know what I do? My wife tells me I need to do something. I'm picking up my phone and I'm putting up my calendar and I'm writing it down electronically, albeit, right? But the power happens. Things happen when you write it down, because you can't remember everything. And then you get reminders throughout the day. That's where the power shows up. That's just one small example. So Amazon, you can hit me up. Call us at 513-404-7793. You can send us a text message at Powerful Living. That's the name of our ministry. and get information as well about the book. If you want to buy a bunch of books, if you want to buy a stack of 200 books so I can give away at middle schools and high schools, I'm going to allow you to do that. I'm going to allow you to do that. You just hit me up, let me know, write that $2,000 check. Listen, and the books are going to the high schools. We got Liberty Bible Academy coming up soon. I love speaking there to those young kids. That's a 8th through 12. That's 8th. I think they got 7th graders last year. That room be packed. It must be 7 through 12. I bet you that's what they got now, because the doggone room be packed. So I'm looking forward to that. But I want to be able to give away some books. So that's that. You want to be able to partake of that. So check it out. Today is going to be fun. Everybody on YouTube, listen, y'all are missing out. This first 20 minutes or so, depending on however long I go today, is going to be for my listeners on the YouTube airways. We're going to talk about powerful living. But just understand, after these first initial moments, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, is when I had some water. I had a bottle of water. Was that mine? Yes, thank you. These first 30 minutes are for those of you who are on the YouTube channel online. You catch it not live. I ain't ready to do live yet on YouTube. But what happens immediately after this broadcast on YouTube, we go into a Zoom session where we have what we call empowerment sessions. The link for the empowerment sessions are in the description box below. The empowerment sessions are just awesome. I don't even really know how to describe the empowerment sessions to you, to where you can actually feel the power, but I have shared some testimonials that have come from the empowerment sessions. So just understand, if you're enjoying this ministry on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts, being a part of empowerment and sessions is where we put powerful living into practice. Because moreover, as believers in Jesus Christ, we need to be doers of the work. And in the empowerment sessions, this is where we share the struggles that we have, the things that we're going through, things we want to accomplish. We share that with each other. And then we also work with each other. Most of the time it's somebody working together with me. So think one-on-one coaching in a group setting. We try to create a safe space. So I never record the empowerment sessions because people share deeply and intimately and transparently. And I want to continue to create a safe space for that so they can continue to get what they need. I always say that empowerment sessions are not a church service. They are a service for the church. So just like when you got your car going and you hear something going on in your car that you need to repair, you go to the mechanic and you tell the mechanic what's going on. And from his knowledge and his experience, he says, hey, this is what I think is the problem. Let's get in there and let's diagnose it. Let's work together. And this is what it'll cost you to get it repaired. And then once you get it fixed, you move on to the best part of your life with that vehicle. And our lives are the same as spiritual beings. There's stuff that we got going on. I don't care whether it's family, friends, career, all this kind of stuff that goes on in your life. You got a boss that you just can't deal with anymore. Just maybe a confrontation needs to happen. Maybe you need to pull that boss aside and say, hey, listen, this is what's been going on. And we work with you with those things, show you how to use powerful words, show you how to communicate well, show you how to overcome all of these areas of your life. That's what the empowerment sessions are doing. So you want to join that. The empowerment session login for Zoom is in the description box. Join us every Sunday at 10:30 a.m. If you want to join us in person, you can. 5616 Wolf Pen Pleasant Hill Road. If you're in the Cincinnati area, it's right off of 275, just outside of Milford High School, Milford Middle School, right up the street. In general dentistry, will be in the upper room, 10:30 a.m. on Sunday mornings for the empowerment sessions. Here we go. I'm gonna have fun with this one today, y'all. This session today, we are going to talk about GOAT status. GOAT status, that's right, GOAT status. So, greatest of all time. This is so debated. But it's so much fun because everybody has their own list. So it's like today, What I want to talk about when it comes to greatest of all time, I want to talk about you have this all-time great status for people that you love in whatever sport, whatever genre you think about right now, right? But just get this. Among the greatest of all time, among the Hall of Famers, most people agree there's levels to this. And most people agree there's an upper room in the Hall of Fame where few of the greatest of the greats can go into that room. We talking about, let's just take basketball for a second, okay? Listen, there are some great all-time centers. People say Bill Russell, right? And Hakeem Olajuwon. Man, you can just go through the list of all-time great centers in the NBA. But brother, Shaq is in that upper room. There was just nobody like Shaq. Do I need to mention some of the great point guards of all time? Oh my goodness. Man, you can go down the list depending on whatever era you're from. You know, Chris Paul in today's society. Man, I'm thinking of Mike Bibby. Man, some of these just great all-time point guards. Like Allen Iverson. Oh my goodness, man, just people. But just in the upper room, there's this elite class where just few go. They're the greatest of the greats. When it comes to point guard, Isaiah Thomas. What? Fight me. Fight. This is my list. We're going greatest of all time. I ain't revealed the genre yet. I'm waiting on. Hang on. This is going to be good today. And it's like, yeah, Kobe. Do I need to say the two letters? Who is at the top? Yeah, I know some of you think LeBron. LeBron is in that room. Doggone right. LBJ is in that room. There's levels to this stuff, right? But listen, MJ is sitting at the head of the table. Now fight me if you want to. Some of you, if you less than 30 years old, don't be coming over here you're talking to me about no GOAT status with LeBron James, okay? We might just fight over that, or we actually won't, because I don't play with churn. Don't play with me. You less than 30 years old, talking about some greatest of all time. You 30 years old, you still wet behind the ears, like Stephen A. say. Wet behind the ears, breath smelling like Similac. You ain't old enough to have this conversation very thoroughly. Calm down and sit back and learn something. And so, yeah, those kind of people, just the best of the best. So here we go. Here we go. This is going to be fun, y'all. This is my list. Now, you can fight me on this, and I just want everybody to remember here on my Zoomers, make sure you mute your video status, because I don't want to hear you cussing me out when I put my list out here, okay? This is my list. And we having some fun with this, okay? We lead into an empowerment session, but I just want y'all to know we having some fun with this. This is my list. Here we go. Greatest of all time singers. And we're going to do it today. I'm going to share my top 10. I'm going to start from number 10. Now, let me give some qualifications, okay? This is greatest of all time. You 30 and under people, listen here, man. Don't come at me with no Britney Spears, man. We talking about time, and we talking about greatest. I ain't mad at Britney, okay? I ain't mad at Rodrigo or whoever these folks be doing this stuff nowadays. Nowadays, you don't actually really know who can sing and who can't sing with all that studio in their voice. So just, y'all calm down. If you're 30 years old, you might need to sit down somewhere. I told you I don't play with churn. I don't play with churn. It's greatest of all time singers. Now, one of the things about myself is that I've always had a broad palette when it came to music, and music was really a gift for me. It helped me survive a real tough childhood growing up in Detroit. I would always be able to have some music playing, and it changed my soul. I might have had a bad day at home, at school, or at work, or whatever, at school, or coming home. But man, just to be able to listen to some music, man, just changed my whole atmosphere. So, greatest of all time singers. Now, some of y'all already popping up lists, and that's cool, because in the empowerment session, I'll give you a chance to share. If you're on YouTube, you go ahead, because I know you want to share in the comments section. You can dispute my list if you want to. Don't get too disputy, because I might get to come at you or something. Don't get too disputy. This is my list. But you can put your list in the comments section on this YouTube channel, right? And then because I love to hear some of yours. These are mine. Here we go. Greatest of all time singers. Wow. This took some work. Some of y'all who throwing up a list right now, I'm surprised that you throwing up a list this fast, because this took some work, bro. And I intentionally did not give you a heads up, because I ain't really want you to rush this thing. So I want to have this qualification too. When I say greatest, because we're talking about the greatest of the great, there's some great point guards, but just Isaiah Thomas was just different, bro. Okay, there's some great centers. Shaquille O'Neal was just different. God almighty. MJ. Okay. Different. When I say greatest of all time singers, I'm talking about singers that when you hear their voice, it just does something different to your soul. You just realize that this person who just opened up their mouth is doing something different than most people can do. And it make you go, oh my God. And it make you turn it up. It make you hit the rewind button. Y'all following me? Okay. People that's got something different going on. Spectacular. Extraordinary. Greatest of all time. I know this is called, I know y'all ready to get to, y'all want to hear my list, but I'm just, it's called filibustering, because
You said rewind.
You gotta hit the rewind. All right, here we go. So I'm gonna go, this is my top 10. Let me make sure I got 10. Because it was hard to narrow this down to 10. Okay, and I'm gonna start with number 10. And some of these I may have to give you a song. You can do that too, be good. But check it. Here we go. Number 10, greatest of all time singers, Luther Vandross. Luther Vandross. Okay, and I took some time, so these are in rank these are in the rank that I put of greatest of all time. So, man, Luther Vandross was just different. So here's the thing about Luther. I've heard a couple of people that they sound like Luther. But they got their stuff from Luther. Like they did the Luther thing. Like they doing Luther.
Big Luther, little Luther.
See, that's the beautiful thing about Luther. Luther was like the boxer of music and singers. You had weight classes that you could love him in. Am I wrong? Fight me. Tell me where the wrong is. Is you like 300-pound Luther, or you like 160-pound Luther? Both of them was great. You could pick your weight class with Luther. But so it's not hard to imitate Luther. It's not hard to sound like Luther. Now, you still got to be a good singer to sound like Luther. I'm just saying, I've heard other people sound like Luther. He was the first one to sound like him. He had this fluty, just, you couldn't follow Luther on what he's about to do vocally without having heard him before. He had this ability to just run through different kinds. He'd start a real low, soft and fluty, and then he'd pop up to staccato. He could sing really deep, and then he'd sing a high. Just Luther, man. Luther Vandross. That was my number 10. Don't fight me on my list. If you listen, 30 years and under, y'all don't play. Don't play. Okay, so all-time greats now. Number 9 for me is Elton John. Elton John. Man, if you don't understand, just look up Elton John, Rocket Man. What else? Oh my God. Tiny Dancer. Just Elton John had a range that was amazing, but he had this joy in his voice that was just hypnotic. You felt better listening to Elton John sing, no matter what was ailing you. I gotta move on. Elton John is my number 9. Okay, number 8 for me. This is a little different because I couldn't really tell which name to pull. So I just put the Bee Gees. The Bee Gees. I couldn't tell because there weren't a lot of videos back then who was singing, but it's like 4 brothers. I think 3 of them are fraternal twins. But it's like, is it Ryan? Is it Andy? Is it there's a couple of other brothers, Gibbs. Andy Gibb, Ryan Gibb, right? The Bee Gees. Man, listen to some of the songs from Bee Gees. You definitely go to the Staying Alive album. They resurrected their career on that Staying Alive album. They like really took over the world. But these guys had high soprano voices. And you just weren't used to hearing a man sound like that and sound good. And the harmonies, man, the strings that just go listen to some of the Bee Gees songs. More Than a Woman. More than a woman. More than a woman to me. They had they were flawless voices, man. And they didn't have no whole bunch of vocoder and stuff and auto-tuner. So it's like whatever got recorded, that was you. That was going out. These dudes just phenomenal. So I put the Bee Gees and I just put the Gibb brothers because you don't really know which one was singing at any particular time. But all of them had these phenomenal falsetto soprano voices that were just beautiful, 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 beautiful. Okay, here we go. So Luther Vandross, Elton John, the Bee Gees. All right, we coming on down to what might be more relatable to some of you young whippersnappers. All right. Coming in real strong at number 7. Anita Baker. Anita Baker. Listen, you fight me. Fight me. Okay, I'm admit, I'm a homer. Anita Baker is from Detroit. You know, many times I have walked and bumped into Anita Baker at the A&P, at the mall. Anita Baker was just a hometown girl. She ain't buy no whole big house. She ain't buy no private jets, but this girl was on top of the world. But just no one in the world could sing like Anita Baker. You see what I did there? No one in the world can love me. Anita Baker, see, here's the thing. So Anita Baker was more of a you had to be an appreciation. You had to have an appreciation for jazz music. Because Anita Baker was a jazz singer. And the note scale that she sang was jazz notes. And so if you didn't like Anita Baker, most of it was because you weren't a jazz enthusiast. But what she could do with her voice, man, y'all just got to listen. Rapture, you got to listen to that. Same Old Love. Oh my gosh. Just so many hits, Anita Baker. How many awards has she won? But just understand, you need to listen to Anita Baker. And just understand, if it's different and it's kind of putting you to, ooh, Tess, oof, I know, Tessie. Listen, I only got 10. This is 10. Oh my gosh, Minnie Riperton. Tessie just threw out there. Gosh. Silly of me to think that I ever da. I love you. Oh my gosh, Minnie Riperton, don't start. It's only 10. I only got room for 10. I thought about that. Yes, gosh. So Anita Baker, is coming in strong. Okay, listen. So I really had to check myself right here on this next one, right? So coming in at number 6, I had to check myself on this one because I had to make sure that this list was simply about vocal talent. Somebody that when they open up their mouth, oh gosh, Connie, Tina Marie, good Lord. Oh, I only got 10. Now, if I expand this bad boy to 15, okay, we Tina Marie, Lord have mercy. Oh, okay. If I'm talking about just vocal talent, just stuff that when they open up their mouth, it changes your very soul. I have to go just on that. And there's a whole lot of trouble you'll get into with this person if you don't mention this person. The person's following will come for you. and logic and reason will go out the door when it comes to this person if you sound like you're saying anything other than hype and praise for this person. Their following has a term that even is scary. Will let you know you about to get your ass tapped, okay? You don't even mess with this in natural. The natural, you run from these, okay? And hey, listen, I'm just saying, fight me if I'm wrong. The beehive will come for you if you say something sideways about Beyonce. Tell me I'm wrong. It's ridiculous. This is my list. I said this is my list. So I'm just saying Beyonce has to be on this list. Number 6 is Beyonce, man. Listen. That's the song you look up. If you're not familiar with enough of Beyonce's music, and there's this argument, I know she doesn't have an all-time great song, a career-defining song. You can listen to good songs of hers. I know, I've heard that argument, but just understand, there ain't too many people can do what Beyonce can do vocally. Y'all just need to understand. So just go look up. The movie was Dreamgirls. Thank you. This song called Listen. There's a music video afterward, but she also sang it live during the movie. Live, right? You have got to hear that song, Listen. It shows off almost all of her range in one song. And I'm telling you, this girl is unlike any other. Look up that song, Beyonce, Listen, and you understand why she comes in at number 6. You can fight me if you want to. What'd you say?
Was that 6 or 5?
That was number 6.
Oh.
All right. Here we go. My number 5. And I'm gonna give y'all time. We can bounce back. Because listen, we go into the scriptures too. I understand God got something to say about this, but y'all just be patient today. If you gotta go, you gotta go. And then we'll catch you in next time. Okay, number 5. Stephanie Mills. Listen, I'm telling y'all 30 and unders, y'all don't fight. Just sit your behind down and learn something. Sit your behind down. Y'all need to be writing this down. Stephanie Mills, Home. When I think of home, I think of a place where there's love overflowing. Oh my, but by the time, if you don't believe me about Stephanie Mills, that when she opens up her mouth, she will change your way of being. Just when you look up the song, Stephanie Mills, Home, by the time you get to there's about 60 seconds left, if you're not blown away, like sand on a beach, you will be blown away the last 60 seconds of that song. Now listen to that and then come back and talk to me. Stephanie Mills, man. Listen, vocals like none other. Okay, now, here's where I struggled because I didn't have a lot of I didn't have a lot of men up here. And so I didn't want to feel like I was being sexist. So these last two, okay, number 4 and 5, I just couldn't figure out where to put them. And remember, I told you I have a wide palette of music. Okay, so don't fight me on this one. I decided to go with Mariah Carey at number 4. And number 3 will tell you why. I talked about my wide palette. Okay, Mariah Carey at number 4. So just understand that vocally, there's octaves. So usually somebody can sing really low, like The Temptations. Like the dude from Boys Men, hey baby, I know you cheated on me, but I love you, and I want you back. Listen, so somebody who can sing bass is not usually supposed to jump up 3 octaves and be able to sing a high tenor as well. Those are called octaves, right? So most singers have a 3 octave range. Really gifted people have a 4 octave range. Mariah Carey has a 5 octave range. 5. Most singers have 3. The really gifted ones have 4. Mariah Carey is one of the few who have a 5 octave range. Has Mariah Carey ever recorded a bad song? Don't talk to me about performances, because, hey, listen. Mariah Carey just had some struggles in performances, okay? And y'all need to be hating, because as singers, you go on the road and your voice gets beat down. You go to Europe and China and all these kind of stuff, and then you come back and they want you to sing on New Year's Day. Listen, hey, be a reason sometimes people can't follow those tracks the way they're supposed to. And I ain't never mad at a vocalist doing tracks. Just make sure that, that's you. And so Mariah Carey comes in, that 5 octave range is just incredible. She comes in at number 5, or sorry, number 4. Okay, now follow me now. Number 4, Pavarotti. Luciano Pavarotti will change your soul. His voice will drain every bit of emotion from your body. Luciano Pavarotti. He's been singing since Moses came down from the mountain. I believe he's still with us today. Now, his vocals aren't today what they used to be, but just probably 1973 was when he burst onto the scene. He was doing opera and stuff. And this tenor with this vibrato and the emotion that he could express. Y'all, just look up Pavarotti. Don't you need to put his first name in? There's just some names that are just so great. They just go by one name. Jordan. One name is all you need. Oh. Right? Pavarotti. You got to do it. Luciano Pavarotti, but just look up Pavarotti. You ain't got to even spell it right. Okay, coming in because I'm already 30 minutes in. Here we go. This is fun for me. I know this is fun for y'all. Ain't nobody ready to fight me yet. This is y'all list. You can make your own list. Is that Bootsy over there making noise? Mm-hmm. Hey, tell her, don't have me throw you out in the middle of the street when the car coming. Okay, so here we go. Pavarotti pulling it up strong at number 3. I told you this is all time. You young whippersnappers, you ain't had enough time yet. You just stay with us here, okay? Number 3, I'm sorry, wait, yes, no, I'm sorry. So Mariah was 4, Pavarotti was 3. Okay, coming in at number 2, this shouldn't surprise anybody. Whitney Houston. I see some people getting tight in the behind. I told you I only had 10. This is only 10. Whitney Houston. Man, listen. You talking about a 5 octave range, but also Whitney Houston held a note for 8 bars in one of her songs. Now, some of y'all that's not real musically inclined, don't worry about it. Just understand, holding a note is a gift. To be able to stay on pitch, to hold it and to have the lung capacity to sustain it. But 8 bars is something out of this world. I don't even, just look any Whitney Houston song. Man, do you know how bad Whitney Houston is? Whitney Houston has disappeared Hall of Famers. Like a Hall of Famer song, I Will Always Love You. Whitney Houston wasn't the first person. She wasn't the first person to sing that song. But you can't even say I Will Always Love You and mention the person who originated the song and who is a Hall of Famer. You may not care for the genre, but I'm telling you. I'm just telling you now. Dolly Parton is a Hall of Famer. Dolly Parton originated I Will Always Love You. When Whitney Houston sang it, we forgot about Dolly Parton. Now you doing some stuff when you can disappear a Hall of Famer. When Whitney Houston did I'm Every Woman, and she didn't even change it a lot. She just put Whitney on it. Brother, we almost forgot about Shaka Khan to the point where in the song she had to say Shaka Khan to remind her, Shaka Khan. That was her way of giving tribute because she knew she was about to tear that song off of Shaka Khan's soul. That's Whitney, man. Oh my God. Whitney Houston. Okay, and this is going to be a short one, number one. I'm going to get to the scriptures here, and we're going to share it, because this is related. I know where I'm going. I'm going somewhere. That's right. Jesus is all over this. Watch me. Number one, I don't really need to have a whole bunch of discussion about who the greatest of all time singers is. This is my list, right? And I only got 10. Brother, he's another one of these people with one word. Michael. Yeah. Okay, I appreciate it. Here's an under 30 who agrees with me. Number one, Michael Jackson. 5-octave range. But who is male and sings soprano? Now, I can do some falsetto. I'm going to give details of what falsetto means, but you're not a woman, more than a woman to me. Like, that's falsetto. Like, I'm hitting the note, but I ain't actually in that range. Michael Jackson was a male soprano. Not to mention that you can, because remember, I told you, pulling up the bottom was Luther Vandross. It ain't hard to sound like Luther Vandross. Michael Jackson, listen, you hard pressed to even dance like Michael Jackson. You got to really study and learn that stuff. But who have you ever heard and said, wow, that sound like Michael Jackson? Nobody. I ain't talking about now. And then you just throw in, bro. You understand? I remember some silly person had a conversation with me trying to compare Michael Jackson to Elvis. Trying to compare Elvis to Michael Jackson. I was like, what is actually the matter with you? Did you actually bump your head on that big steel frame coming in the door? Like, what is wrong with you? They don't even, bro. This is where Michael Jackson separates himself. Because I said this to this guy. I said to him, forget comparing the vocal talents, because that ain't even a conversation that you should have logically and sensibly. But I said, excuse me, sir. Michael Jackson was selling out venues when Elvis Presley hadn't learned how to ride a bike yet. Michael Jackson was selling out venues. What was he, 8? 7? You thought Mariah Carey originated the song. You better come on, somebody. That's Michael. So this greatest of all time, you talk about all time? Bro, Michael Jackson spanned greatness over like 50 years almost, bro. We'll just say 40. He got creepy at the end. You go from a black male to a white woman. Is weird and stuff. I mean, God bless him. Rest his soul. I love him. I said that. That's right. I said it with my chest too. Fight me. Fight me. Tell me a. Okay, so that's my top 10 list. We're gonna go into the scriptures. If you got Revelation chapter 1, you can go in there and read along with us, because I want to cut this short for my people who are on YouTube, and we're going to have an empowerment session. We're going to connect these two together. But you have Revelation chapter 1, and I want to really jump into this because Here's one of the things where we talk about when it comes to powerful living, where you may disagree with my list as far as who's the greatest of all time because of the things that they did that were just different than anybody else. Just understand, and we'll talk about some more of this next week, because I want you to just understand, when somebody does something different than anybody else, you are on your way to greatness. If you can do one thing better than anybody else on the planet, you are on your way to greatness. You can say what you want about KFC, but when it comes to fried chicken, that is the name. You may not like it, but just understand, that is the name. Let me think of some other ones here real quickly, because just for the sake of time. Okay, so how about at least all time, when you say hamburger, you thinking them golden arches. That's all I can do, the golden arches. Yeah, you do one thing better, and you get a McDonald's burger in America, it's going to taste the exact same as if you get one in China. They have mastered that craft, and they just for years until they got competition. Burger King started kicking in there and stuff like that. But, you know, McDonald's fries, fight me on that. McDonald's fries, fight me. Tell me that the hot off the French fry thing, greasy thing order of McDonald's fries. Tell me there's something French fry better. Say it with your chest. I see you squirming over there. What, Mr. Under 30? What?
Wendy's.
What?
Wendy's fries are pretty good nowadays.
See, this is why you don't let 30 and unders even speak on all-time conversations. Out of all the French fries that he could have mentioned, Wendy's. I do not like Wendy's French fries at all. Okay, I'm gonna forgive you for that.
I'm gonna have to defend my brother. Wendy's new French fries are so much better than the old. So it's a whole different level than the old one. So maybe you're basing it on the old Wendy's French fries?
Yes.
But the new one, the sea salt one?
Are way better.
Okay, so that's good. Thank you for clarification on that, MJ. You saved him. Okay, so if they done some new stuff, that's good, and I appreciate that. But remember to call all-time great now, so they done entered a new fighter into the ring. Okay, I can rest with that. I ain't had none of the new ones. But when I say McDonald's and them French fries, they've been champ for 100 years. Okay, that's good, because we got to get into this. So it's like somebody who does something different than anybody else has done it, separates themselves from everybody else. So here we go. If you got Revelation chapter 1, I want to talk to you about this man, Jesus, and the real simplicity that surrounds how different he was and is. Revelation chapter 1, I'll flow through this fairly quickly. New Living Translation says, this is a revelation from Jesus Christ, which God gave him. God gave Jesus Christ this revelation to show his servants the events that must soon take place. It says these events are going to happen quickly, suddenly. He sent an angel to present this revelation to his servant John. So when people say John the Revelator, that's not quite accurate. John wrote about the vision of Jesus Christ that was given to him via an angel. An angel said, hey, John, you got pen and paper? Write this down, bro. Jesus sent me to tell you what he saw. That's how it went. So write this stuff down. I'm an angel of God. I need you to write this down. Jesus sent me to tell you what he saw in a vision that he was given from God the Father. So you see the four persons involved there, right? God the Father, Jehovah, Yahweh, Jesus the Son, the angel sent to John. This is not John's revelation. Just be clear. Just want to be clear on that. Okay, here he says, he sent an angel to present this revelation to his servant John, who faithfully reported everything he saw. This is his report of the word of God and the testimony of Jesus Christ. God blesses the one who reads the words of this prophecy to the church, and he blesses all who listen to its message and obey what it says, for the time is near. This is the power of the empowerment sessions, y'all, because he says he blesses all those who listen to its message and obey. Those who hear the word and do it. This is why empowerment sessions are so important, because empowerment sessions are where we put the word of God into practice. We put powerful living into practice. It's important, y'all. You can't just say I'm a Christian and have a name only, just a title. Like, you got to be able to do something. Anybody can say I'm an all-time great at something. Show me your work. What if Mariah Carey went running around here saying I'm an all-time great and we had never heard her sing nothing? We might throw her in a loony bin. Okay, he says that they listen to its message and obey what it says, for the time is near. This letter is from John to the 7 churches in the province of Asia. Now, just for clarity here, Asia, back in this day when these scriptures were written, Asia was a Roman province, and the area right now that this was talking to, where he sent the letter, that Asia, that is not Asia, China over there, right? No. This is Turkey. It was a province of Rome. We now call it Turkey. Now, there's a reason I'm going to come back, because Turkey is important. There's a reason I'm going to come back to that, and I wanted to point that out. Remember, this is now a province in Western Turkey. So he says, grace and peace to you from the one who is, who always was, and who is still to come. That's where we get the term Ancient of Days. You've seen this, you've heard the song, blessing and honor, glory and power be unto the Ancient of Days, the one who surpasses time, or covers time, or is beyond time. That's where we get this term, the one who was, is, and is still to come. That's covering all of time. That's where we get the term the Ancient of Days, which means he who surpasses time. This is important too in this greatest of all time conversation. Listen, there's levels to this. There's length to this. Like, this stuff goes beyond us and will come after us. And so when you have a knowledge about something, you have power, like it's about all time. This sustained greatness and power. Here we go. He says, the one who is, was, and is still to come, from the sevenfold spirits, 7 spirits around his throne. Now, verse 5. And from Jesus Christ, he is the faithful witness to these things, this vision that he saw. He's the witness. The first to rise from the dead and the ruler of all the kings of the world. All glory to him who loves us and has freed us from our sins by shedding his blood for us. This is what I talked to you about. The powerful thing that is Christianity is that the personhood that we worship did something for us first that we couldn't do for ourselves. It says he shed his blood. He died and he loved us first, freed us from our sins by shedding his blood. That's the powerful thing of the Christian faith. But let's not skip past this. He says, he is the faithful witness to the things that I'm about to write about. Is Jesus he's talking about. And he says, he is the first to rise from the dead. Now let's stop and think about this for a second. I'm going to give you a reference here. I want you to look this up if you really want to strengthen your faith in Jesus Christ and really firm your walk about what we believe in, the God of Abraham, Yahweh, Jehovah, and the truthfulness and imminence of Jehovah God. Like, he is the God. He sent his son, Jesus Christ, to die for us, and that he rose from the dead. See, these are all facts that have evidence, and this covers courses of time throughout all humanity. But what this particular passage is pointing out is the fact that Jesus did something that nobody else has done. He rose from the dead. He's the first to rise from the dead. Now that means to conquer death, meaning that there's a whole bunch of people. You can even look in the scriptures. Lazarus, Jesus rose Lazarus from the dead, among other people, right? You see all these other people that Jesus rose from the dead, but you know they died again, right? You know they died again. Okay. Jesus rose from the dead and he ascended into heaven according to the scriptures and according to all of those witnesses who were willing to die themselves rather than admit that there was a lie or a hoax. They said, no, we didn't steal the body. No, we saw him We saw him ascend into heaven. He was the same person that y'all crucified. We saw him. He stayed on earth for like 60 days. It was quite a while. And we sat and talked with him again, and then he rose from heaven. We will throw you in the Colosseum with the lions if you don't stop telling that lie. I'm telling you, it's not a lie. And they threw these people in the Colosseum, and they were eaten by lions. Now think about that for a second, just for the sake of time. I won't have to go too deeply into this. But these were people who were willing to die and have their families die with them. All they had to do was say, okay, we lied. We stole the body. I'm going to take you where it is. We lying. But instead, they faced the lions. That should mean something to you. And so when it says Jesus Christ is the first from the dead, that's one evidence that says that Jesus Christ rose from the dead and that it's real and true. Because people were willing to die horrible deaths and not confess a lie, that it was a conspiracy. All they had to do was say we was lying. They made it up. I can give you proof that they made it up, that he rose from the dead. No, it was somebody else. That's all they had to do if they knew it was a lie. But they didn't know it was a lie because they wasn't. They saw him. And they were willing to die horrible deaths, thrown into the Colosseum with lions, sawn asunder, sawn in two in front of everybody. You know what it means to be drawn and quartered? A horse tied to each one of your limbs. You know what happens next. Before you know it, all you got is a head and torso down there. And scientists say just the amount of pain when you have each one of your limbs pulled off they can't even describe it. People were willing to go through all of these deaths. Banishment. They tried to kill John, the one who wrote this book. They tried to kill him. They tried to boil him in oil. He would not boil. He was Fox's Book of Martyrs. Fox's Book of Martyrs. Just go ahead and read it. It'll show you about how some of these people died and some of the way they tried to boil John in oil. He wouldn't die. They tried to cut his head off. His head wouldn't cut off. Y'all, I ain't lying about this stuff. This stuff is in the books. You just have to look deep enough. I'm giving you reference. Fox's Book of Martyrs. Look that up. And so they couldn't kill John, and so they banished him to the Isle of Patmos. They just found an island out there and just threw him on there. No food, no nothing. I don't know where he got the stuff to write with, but he got it from somewhere. Okay, so these people were willing to die for what they believed because they said, no, we saw with our own eyes and we ain't gonna lie. We will die for him. Ooh, I don't know too many things that I'll die for right now. I hope I would die for Jesus. I hope I would. Seriously, I hope I would. Whew. I believe I would. And so he says he's the first to rise from the dead. So anytime somebody does something original, you need to pay attention to them. So as you go down and do your studies, research your study, just look up Lee Strobel. Here's another reference for you. The Case for Christ. The Case for Faith. Both of those books. I've studied those books. This is a guy who used to be an atheist, but the biggest part about him is he's a forensic attorney. So he's good at gathering evidence to present a case. And that's what he used to do back in the day in his old career. And he gathered all of the evidence surrounding this life, death, and supposed resurrection of Jesus Christ. And when you take a look at the evidence that he presented, that's there for all of us to read and see and study on your own, you'll see that something is different about this dude. Something is different. Either he is the greatest magician ever to set foot on this planet, and he pulled off one of the greatest hoaxes in history, or he is eternal. He did rise from the dead. And all I'm saying is it's worth you doing the research. And so you got all this research. Now, here's why I tie this into Turkey, because remember, this province that this scripture was written to, this people over in Asia, the part of the Roman province is not called actually Asia nowadays. It's Western Turkey. So here's a third piece of evidence that I want you to take a look at, because we're talking about wanting to know what we believe and why we live the way we live and why we deny ourselves the way we deny ourselves and why we do the things that we do. Why? It's because we know that Jesus is alive. We believe it by faith, and faith wasn't even given to us on our own. It wasn't even something we produced on our own. It was given to us by God, because God says, I know this person's going to believe in me, so I'm going to give them the gift of faith to be able to do it. But it's not just faith that we live by, y'all. You can study these things. So here we go. Go to YouTube and look up God's treasure Noah's Ark. God's treasure, Noah's Ark. Stephen, you do remember this because I presented this to teenagers years back in Teen Sunday. So I just want you to know, just long story short, in 1985, it was discovered, an archaeological discovery that is an evidence toward Jehovah God and the things in the Bible being true. In the mountains of Ararat, in the mountains of Ararat in western Turkey, there is an archaeological discovery that was made in 1985. Yes, that's a long time ago. When you hear this, and you're going to ask, is this some new information? Nope, it's old. Well, why didn't nobody know about it? That's what my teens said in that teen class. It's like, my God, how come we got to tell everybody? Yeah, they told everybody it was 1985. Well, why don't they want anybody to know? Same reason they started killing people when Jesus rose from the dead. Because they didn't want anybody to know. Well, human beings don't change. So here we go. In the mountains of Ararat in 1985, there was a discovery that when the scientists looked at it, all the preponderance of evidence, there were scientists from all over the world that came. Some of them was believers. A lot of them wasn't believers. They were just scientists and archaeologists. So when you look up God's treasure, Noah's Ark, you will find that what they discovered were remnants, that the evidence shows that it's hard to deny that this could be Noah's Ark, a keel that measured the specifications in the Bible for Noah's Ark. It's over there. It's in there. They discovered it in 1985. You can see it. It's kind of grainy. There's VHS footage and all that kind of stuff. But you should just see the stuff in there. And when you look at it, you be like, well, dang, that's hard to ignore that. They had this and they had that and it was built like that. So just take a look at that. And there's another piece of evidence. God's treasure, Noah's Ark. You can go take a look at Lee Strobel's 2 books, The Case for Faith and The Case for Christ. So we can get a real, just a logical, step-by-step, evidence-based approach to what we believe about Jesus and his rising from the dead. And if he did rise from the dead, which I believe he did because of the evidence for it, you got to take a look and say, this dude is one of one. Now, what should I do with that? My friend, my neighbor, if Jesus Christ is one of one, and there's something unique and different about him, that he has done something that nobody else in time has done, what should I do with that? You can have your list of all of the things that you believe. You can have your list of things that you find important and things that you find valuable and ways of life that you want to live and all these kinds of things that you say you love. But just understand the preponderance of evidence that is there for Jesus Christ and for Jehovah God, the God of the Bible, the preponderance of evidence for that idea, we'll say, it's something to be taken seriously. And if you're a person who is intellectually honest and you take a look at all of that evidence, you must say to yourself, it can't be ignored that it's likely true that he rose from the dead. And once you come to that conclusion, my friend, then you have to ask yourself this next question. What should I do with this information? What do I do next? My friend, the way you answer that question can have ripple effects throughout eternity. I'm here to tell you, Jesus is the GOAT. He is the greatest of all time. Look at the evidence and you'll see what I've seen. God bless you. Henry Flowers, Powerful Living Outreach Ministries. Nope, I ain't going nowhere. I'm coming back.